All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Kakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. All right, what I want to get into today is dealing with, all right, the great escape. Okay, the great escape, because we understand Esau, Edom, okay, this devil, all right, he's the master of deception, and as the scripture calls this man, going back to his origin, dealing with Esau himself, he was known as what? A cunning hunter. Okay. So this man, is very deceptive. All right. And one element, one dynamic, that comes with being a hunter. Well, hunters have to use deception to catch the prey. That gives them an advantage of the prey. Okay. And this devil has set up a whole system, especially against Jake, because he has studied Jake thoroughly. You know, he understands the makeup, okay, of our people. Okay. And that's why he's able, all right, to set snares and traps, all right, to get our people, okay, trapped up in his system, trapped up in his philosophies. Okay. And if he can get you trapped in his philosophies, well, he can get you to, okay, worship, okay, his image. Okay. Because that's the main trap of this new world order, is to get people to worship the image of the beast. Okay, because that's just one step away from you to accepting the mark of the beast, the MOTB. Okay, but the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, he has freed us from the snare mentally and spiritually, and now he's coming to deliver us physically from this snare. Okay, so let's go into a few precepts. Now, I brought this out earlier during the morning news and prophecy. I want to expound on verses 6 and 7, mainly verse 7. Psalms 124 and 6, it says, "Blessed be the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, who have not given us as a prey to their teeth." Okay? So, blessed be the Lord, who has not given us, all right, to be, okay, a prey, a victim of this man's teeth, which is his power. Okay? And mainly within this system, he has the power to destroy. Okay? But the Wadi Yahweh Shema Shai, the elect are not given to this man to destroy. All right, to be destroyed. Of this system, man. Okay, verse 7 says, "Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers." So it begins with our soul, our spirits. We had to be, we had to be escaped out of this way of thinking. Nigga culture is a snare. Okay, you look at nigga culture, it comes with promises, the music videos, the fame, the women, the clout, you know, everyone chasing this same vision. It's a snare. Okay, that leads to death and dysfunction. Feminism is a snare. It feels good for a woman to be empowered, to be the head, you know, movie, all right, media, music, presented as something glamorous and glorious, but it was a snare. Okay, it was all a snare. Christianity a snare. It sounds good, but it's a snare. Okay, but this truth, it opened up the trap that we was in. We was bound by that trap. Okay, or these different philosophies and beliefs. That was all a snare unto us, man. Because look at the results. Okay, and it says, "Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped." Okay? Because let's go here to what a fowler is to show you that that's Esau's nature. Okay? So when you go into a fowler, all right, in the Hebrew, it's shakwash. Okay? It's to lure. Okay? To lure. Okay? To entice, to snare, to lay a snare. okay, to be entrapped. You see, so someone that's a fowler is someone that's an expert at enticing, an expert at to lure, okay? Because even when you go into the word lure, all right, let's look at that word lure. All right, to lure. All right, it says to lure, to tempt a person or animal to do something, to go somewhere, especially by offering some, all right, form of reward. Okay, to tempt a person or animal to do something or to go somewhere, especially by offering some form of reward. Okay, and that's what the devil has mastered. Okay, he pushes this, these different lifestyles, the different ideologies. Okay, and he promised at the end of it that there's some reward. Okay, so he'll give you, all right, this example of a reward. Like, see, these certain celebrities, they just allure. They're used to lure you in to their lifestyle. All right, so you can expect the same reward, okay, or the same results that they got, okay, which is fame, clout, money, power, you know, whatever. You see, they're looked at as icons, they're praised, okay, and you mimic their lifestyle. All you need is one woman, one proud, independent woman that's rapping about it and talking about it. Now you have millions of trying to do that because they lured in by this one woman, which was just a bait, okay? These certain rappers, all right, they had us following these niggas thinking that we was going to end up with their reward that the nigga on TV got. It was a trap, okay? All of it's a trap. Everything outside the truth is a trap laid by Esau, is a snare by Esau. Okay, so it's all a lure, it's an enticement. Okay, and he entice you in, okay, for what? To their destruction. You see? But he got this one, all right, this small group of people that seem like they're being rewarded for the behavior, okay, that causes what? Death, destruction, and confusion. You see? So this man, as the scriptures say, when you go back to Genesis, how does it describe Esau? All right. Genesis 25 and 27, it says, and the boys grew, and Esau became a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And he wasn't just a hunter of animals, game, hunting for the sake of food or sport. No, this man, okay, hunts souls. Okay, of course he can hunt deer and whatever game, you know. Even with that, certain tactics of, because how Esau hunt, the deer piss and uh, the deer call. He got certain tactics that the devil got. Like when he hunts, okay, he hunts based off deception. It's all about deception. Okay, he brings another element of deception even to hunting on that level. But when it comes to hunting spirit, he hunts with a keen level, a skillful level of deception. Okay, because to bait animals in, you have to set the environment like the animal is winning, like it's getting free food. Okay, with no strings attached. You see, well, Esau has done that with people's souls. Okay, and it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, And Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And you go into the word cunning, okay, in the Hebrew, all right, is Yadai. All right, it says to know, okay, to know by experience, okay. It says to discriminate, to distinguish, to find out, to know, to learn, or to know. So this man, all right, is very skillful, okay, when it comes to hunting the souls of men. And he's deep into that psychology. You know, he goes into the color, he goes into the music frequency, the drum patterns, all these different things, man. You know, he knows how to play on, the heartstrings, and okay, you know how to take you through phases, gradually get you from point A to point B. Okay, so this man is a cunning hunter. He's the fowler. Okay, and there's a lot of people. Okay, their souls are snared into this system. That's why no matter what the devil does, all right, their hope is this system up and going because their souls are ensnared into it. Okay, even when you go into, all right, when America is destroyed, and it speaks about all the product that was being shipped into America, the things that was found in America at the time of its destruction, Revelation 18 and 13. And it says, in cinnamon and odors and ointments and frankincense and wine and oil and fine flour and wheat, beasts and sheep, horses and chariots and slaves and souls of men. Okay, and souls of men. So Babylon, has been this great magic trick that the elites have enchanted the earth with. They even snared the earth with. Because ultimately the elites are the fowlers, man. Okay, they're the wickedness in high places that's setting out these traps, that's leaving people enchanted and worshiping the beast. Okay, prepping people what to take the MOTB, the beast mark. Okay, but through Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, he's allowed us to escape the snare. Okay, that's why let's go here to the book of St. John, chapter 8. Okay, in verse 32, it says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free from all the snares and traps of the devil, because we had to be free here first. Then Yahweh Shai is coming to physically free us out of here, man, and he destroys this system. Okay, as Yahweh Shai destroys this trap. Okay, and we're gonna touch on that aspect. So you go say John 8:32, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And you jump down, verse 36, if the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed, man. Okay, because once we're free, if we're of the elect and we're free by Yahweh Shai, ain't no going back into that snare. Okay, as the scriptures speak about, those that became virgins, which means that we didn't stray away, okay, from the way of our husband. We stayed faithful to the doctrine of our husband, to the instruction of our husband. We didn't tamper with no other way. Okay, spiritual virgins. You see? So we've been made free through Yahweh Shai, okay, through the ministry of the prophets, teaching his word, which loosed us from the snares and the enchantments of this world. What to say, whether it was Christianity, nigger culture, dot culture, all the above, Republican, Democrat, whatever it was, we was ensnared by something. Okay, and through Yahweh Shai, we've been made free through the teaching of his word, through the ministry, okay, of the prophets, man. Okay, let's go here to Colossians, and then we'll segue into the other aspect of it. Colossians 1 and 12, it said, giving thanks unto the Father, which have made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light. Okay, partakers of the inheritance in the saints of light. Well, That's speaking of the promises to the remnant of Israel, you know, that which begins with us being free from the power of darkness, as they're going to say, who have delivered us from the power of darkness and have translated us into the kingdom of his dear son. So we've been delivered from the power of darkness. Okay, the snare. Esau has people snared in darkness, man. But they don't see what's really happening, what's really going on. All right, which makes them easy manipulated. Okay, but if we, are of the remnant, well, the Lord, all right, if you're part of the hopeful elect, well, there comes a time when the Lord takes us out that snare through the ministry of the prophets, man, through the teaching of his word. We're removed from the power of darkness. Okay, we're not operating under that enchantment anymore. And once we awaken, the thing is to continue to grow in Yahushua, so we don't fall back into the enchantments. You see? So escaping the fowler begins with escaping here, the mind. The mind has to be set free from these snares of this society. All right, as we're being now prepared to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light. Okay, we're finna inherit a righteous rulership. Okay, but first we had to be disenchanted of this world. Okay, and that's the power of the gospel, the good news, the effect that it has on the elect. Okay, that it frees them up from these enchantments. It breaks the chains. Okay, that Esau. Okay, the nets that Esau has thrown over the masses. Now, let's go back here. Let's touch on it from this aspect when you go to Psalms 124 again. All right. Psalms 124 and 7, it says, our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken and we are escaped. Okay. And what's going to be the way we're going to be delivered? Because it spoke on the bird. Okay. You go to Isaiah. Okay. 31 and 5. It says, as birds flying. Okay, as birds flying, so will the Lord Yahweh Bashim Shah of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. Okay, so as birds flying, shall we escape? We're going to escape going up. The only way out is up. When those missiles are launched. Okay, when those missiles are airborne, the only escape is going to be in those chariots. And that's going to be the great escape. Okay? I say that it scarcely be saved. We're going to be changed on the way going up in those chariots, man. So it says, as birds flying, so will the Lord of hosts defend Jerusalem. Defending also, he will deliver it, and passing over, he will preserve it. You see? So we're going to be delivered in those chariots. That's going to be that great escape. First, we're delivered in the mind. Okay, we're free from, all right, the enchantments. Okay, and then we're going to even be free from these bodies, okay, in this captivity. Okay, and we're going to escape the system fully as Yahweh Shai. That's why I say that the snare is broken. This whole system is going to be destroyed. There's going to be no more democracy, technocracy. All is going to be destroyed at the return of Yahweh Shai. Okay, so that's the point. Just wanted to get into that. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Kakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, all right, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful Shalom.